Bhagavatam Bites. It's just me. We didn't manage to get one together because he is traveling, but due to the time differences, so sorry. But let's see how it goes. He will be in future ones. It's just at the moment on the road, so we didn't manage to get it together even on Zoom. So let's see, we're at Canto 4, Chapter 20, Text 25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 25. My dear Lord, you are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction, but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Purport. It is explained in the previous verse that one has to hear glorification of the Lord from the mouth of a pure devotee. This is further explained here. The transcendental vibration from the mouth of a pure devotee is so powerful that it can revive the living entity's memory of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In our material existence, under the influence of illusory Maya, we have almost forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Exactly like a man sleeping very deeply who forgets his duties. In the Vedas, it is said that every one of us is sleeping under the influence of Maya. We must get up from this slumber and engage in the right service, for thus we can properly utilize the facility of this human form of life. As expressed in a song by Thakur Bhaktivedanta, Lord Chaitanya says, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. The Lord asks every sleeping living entity to get up and engage in devotional service, so that his mission in this human form of life may be fulfilled. This awakening voice comes through the mouth of a pure devotee. So that's the end of the first paragraph, because there's a couple of paragraphs. So just to comment on that, while I was reading it, again, as we've said previously, it's just Srila Prabhupada that comes to mind. To be honest with you, I mean, we're reading Srila Prabhupada's books, and the foundation, the strength, the foundation, I would say, of the movement are the books, are Srila Prabhupada's book, purports, the translation he's done. So here it says, in this paragraph, oh, my screen keeps turning off. The transcendental vibration from the mouth of a pure devotee is so powerful that it can revive the living entity's memory of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so it's been stressed to hear from a pure devotee can wake us up. You know, like it's giving the example of living entities being asleep, sleeping illusion in Maya. I mean, who else but Srila Prabhupada has done that for us? You know, subsequently we will have, let me say, Shiksha gurus, we take instruction, and Diksha guru, for those who are not disciples of Srila Prabhupada direct, but the fact is that Srila Prabhupada's lectures and his books are the medicine, as it were, that wakes us up because of the knowledge that it gives us. It creates our faith. And Prabhupada brought us the holy names, Prashadam, deities, and his books, and it's this combination, and of course with that comes devotee association, and it's this combination that actually creates faith, and makes us think. Like, I'll give you an example. Yesterday we were at Matchless Gifts. I was at Matchless Gifts, not Nitai because it's not here, but the Matchless Gifts. It's so wonderful to be able to go there just down the road. And Wednesday evening they have Srila Prabhupada memories. They call it Srila Prabhupada memories, so it's like a sangha where we either hear from a Srila Prabhupada disciple about their association with Prabhupada, or we read about it in the books. So yesterday Mother Urmila was there, and when she was, and the room was packed, like completely packed, and it's in the evening, 6:30 to 7:30, and randomly while she was speaking, someone opened the door. Some, I guess, kind of homeless, kind of like that, like just somebody just stood at the door, and everyone was like, oh, because you know, you weren't sure. It's New York. It's in the evening, it's New York. And he said, can I have some money? I don't have a job. Can I have some money? He kept repeating it, and I think he was going to keep repeating it until someone spoke to him. But afterwards, when we were, after the class, everyone takes prashadam, and we were just sharing that, yeah, what fortune he had out of all the door. And the door is closed. Matchless Gifts, that door is closed. It's not open. It doesn't say anyone come in. It's noisy, even though it's hot. We have the AC on, but it's still hot. But the door is closed. So he walked up to that particular building. He opened the door and he asked for help. Like, he wanted money. He was hungry. And we were just saying how, yeah, this is because Srila Prabhupada was there in Matchless Gifts, and so many wonderful devotees were born out of that place. It's a holy theatre. It's a sacred place. And so we were just saying how because of the touch of that pure devotee's energy, this man, whether he comes back or not, he may come back because he may just keep coming back, but the point is he entered the spiritual energy. He took his first step on this glorious path. Maybe he'll continue it in this lifetime, or if not, we were saying definitely next lifetime, because he entered. It's like Prabhupada says, the temples are what he said, temples are spiritual embassies. Like, you have, like, I'm in New York now, so there is a UK embassy somewhere. So it's like so temples are the spiritual embassies, Prabhupada would explain, and they're in the transcendental realm. So he opened the door and he came in. He stood in the doorway. I mean, he came in though, and it's like, so he entered the spiritual world, and for sure, on a subtle level, whatever, he was benefited, and he got some credit for that. And that's all because of the pure devotee. That's because Srila Prabhupada mercifully came to the Lower East Side. It's, yeah. Alright, next paragraph. A pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet. Therefore, he has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. Although, when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. As soon as a sleeping living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord, although up until that moment he had forgotten everything. So that's the end of that next paragraph. Just to comment, such nice imagery of the saffron particles on the Lord's lotus feet, and how the pure devotee picks this up. And there was something, oh yes, it says, although when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, I took that to mean it may sound normal. It may not be like, oh, what's the pure devotee going to speak like? And if he's from England, he'll have a British accent, American accent. And I was thinking that a lot of devotees, myself included, when the first time I heard a Srila Prabhupada lecture, I couldn't understand it the first time because it was such a strong, heavy, strong Indian accent, and I wasn't used to that at all, and I genuinely couldn't get it. And I was like, oh, because prior to hearing the lectures, I was just reading the books, and reading the books means I'm just reading the books. I'm not hearing how he's speaking. And then, so it's interesting though that when you and devotees of other devotees have also said that it took them a while to even therefore engage with the lectures, to even listen, because they couldn't understand it. But it's interesting that we may therefore think, oh, such a strong Indian accent, I don't understand it. But the fact is, as it says here, irrespective of the material sound, the voice, as it says here, is spiritually very powerful, which is true with Srila Prabhupada and others, because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. And such a nice imagery, and as you keep listening, it's interesting, you don't even notice the accent. It's interesting, I can just listen to any lecture now and don't notice it at all, but initially it was difficult. But irrespective of that, the material sound, as it were, of the accent, there's no doubt that Srila Prabhupada was very heavy with spiritual knowledge and potency. So I'll just move on to the final paragraph of this verse. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire, speculative knowledge, or contamination of the modes of material nature. Alright, I didn't really read that properly. I ignored the commas. Okay, hold on. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee. It is very... Oh, Mama. Oh, okay, hold on. Alright, I'm going to do it again. For a conditioned soul, therefore, it is very important to hear from the mouth of a pure devotee who is fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord without any material desire, speculative knowledge, or contamination of the modes of material nature. Right, we got it. Every one of us is Ku Yogi because we have engaged in the service of this material world, forgetting our eternal relationship with the Lord as his eternal loving servants. It is our duty to rise from the Q Yoga platform to become Su Yogis, perfect mystics. A process of hearing from a pure devotee is recommended in all Vedic scriptures, especially by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may stay in his position of life, it does not matter what it is. But if one hears from the mouth of a pure devotee, he gradually comes to the understanding of his relationship with the Lord and thus engages in his loving service, and his life becomes completely perfect. Therefore, this process of hearing from the mouth of a pure devotee is very important for making progress in the line of spiritual understanding. So, yeah, stressing, and that's the end of that paragraph and the end of the purport to verse 25. And the main theme or stress the main theme that is being stressed is to hear from a pure devotee. And very important to hear from a pure devotee. And I like this point here in the final paragraph. One may stay in his position of life, It does not matter what it is, but if one hears from the mouth of a pure devotee, he gradually comes to the understanding of his relationship with the Lord. And that's really interesting, because yesterday, again, at the program at Matchless Gifts, there was a young lady who'd come for the first time, and she was born and raised in New York, and she's tentatively trying out the Bhakti path. Her family have a very religious, but another path. So she was sharing how does it work? She said, how does it work in terms of she said, where does Jesus fit into all this? Where does Jesus? I said, interesting. I said, well, what did I say actually? Now my mind's gone blank. I know, I think I said something along the lines of, you can still worship Jesus. Srila Prabhupada never said not to disregard Jesus, and he never said to disregard any other path. He simply said, either stay on the path you're on, your faith, your religion, and glorify and chant the holy names of the Lord, or come to this path and do it. So, and he never said, oh, you must chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There are many interviews and with Srila Prabhupada and other people of faith and just people in general, where he says, you chant your names of God, you chant the names you have, but just chant, just call upon the Lord, because in this day and age, the way that we connect to the Lord is through the glorification and chanting of his holy names. And that can be Allah, Jehovah, Buddha, Jesus, with whatever name, whatever, if you're chanting the rosary, whatever it is. But just do that, just engage in a loving connection, a loving mood with the Lord through the chanting of his holy names. And I said, so just continue as you are if you need to, and take baby steps, I said, in terms of exploring this bhakti path. And she seemed happy, she seemed peaceful, because it isn't a question of, oh yeah, you gotta come to the temple, you gotta come to the Hare Krishna temple and forget everything. No, we want people to be servants of God. We want people to be sincere servants of God. And if you're comfortable on the path that you're on, then stay on the path. But the point is, do something, do something for God, engage in some service for God, and hear about God and call out his name, call out the name of God, learn to fall in love basically with God. And if you are comfortable and wish to stay on your path and do that, then do it, but just make sure you do it. So yeah, it's very Srila Prabhupada's mood is so it's encouraging, and as we can see from this papa, it's like you just stay, as he says, one may stay in this position of life no matter what it is. Because one other thing, as I was saying yesterday to these young ladies, that Prabhupada always said, it's a +1 process. +1 meaning just add Krishna. That's the +1. Just add Krishna to your life, and he'll do the rest. He definitely does do the rest, as long as you sincerely call out to him and add him. Yeah, he's a tricky fellow. We may think, yeah, all right, Krishna, yeah, I'll add you, I'll see you every Sunday, okay? Oh, I'll see you every month when I go to the temple for the morning program. And before you know it, you're living in the temple. But that's a joke. Anyway, that. So Krishna's like, how can I explain it? It's like a neighbour that sort of says, can I come round for a cup of tea? Yeah, sure. And next thing you know, they've moved in. You're like, what happened? But obviously Krishna just does that. That's a nice thing. He moves in with you. But yeah, so on our part, we just have to add Krishna and he'll do the rest. And just add Krishna at the level at which we're at. And yeah, he'll take care of it for our benefit. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'm going to stop waffling now, because I'm not normally the person that waffles. Next time I will be with my better half. It's just it didn't work out this time due to time zones and traveling. and I wish everyone a wonderful weekend. Here in New York, it's currently, I think it's 33, 34 now, see, I got Celsius degrees. Anyway, it's like crazy hot, I'm sorry, ridiculous. So I hope everyone's well wherever you are. Stay hydrated, stay out of the sun if you can. Hare Krishna.